or not fair. He was very nice today. He called up to make sure I was okay, to make sure that, do I have any suggestions or anything? We do need more people on my detail because we have 50, 60,000 people showing up to events, and
Right.
other people don't have that. But he couldn't have been nicer. But I thought he was treated really unfairly. He went through a primary system, he won, and then they threw him overboard. And she got no votes. She got no votes. But she'd be very bad for the country. We have to save our country. We can't play games, and we can't have a Marxist, communist president, because that's not what it's all about. So we're going to do it, and we're going to make our country greater than ever before, and you're going to be happy, and you're going to love your crypto. And as long as you have crypto, you're happy. So I know
Absolutely.
what makes you happy. Nothing else but crypto.
Yeah. I mean, when the Twitter Spaces was officially announced and that you put the tweet out, a lot of people were like, well, who's this Farouk guy? And obviously, a lot of people started digging into this Farouk guy, and the main reply that was that I'm just this crypto bro. But you know what, Mr. President, I am a proud crypto bro. And it seems like you're starting to become one of us, if not already. I know for a fact that your children are quite involved in the space. I mean, we have Baron, Don Jr., and Eric on the Twitter Spaces right now. Eric and Don Jr. here, who will be joining us a little later on this programming. But get into crypto now, because I already see the people on Twitter Spaces really eager to hear you talk about this. At the recent Bitcoin conference, you mentioned that, and I quote, "America should be the crypto capital of the world."
Yeah.
That was a big statement, and I believe the correct one. So why is it not right now?
Well, I think it will be right now. Right now, you have a very hostile SEC. I guess you'd have to say, I don't know, when you say administration, do you call it Biden or do you call it Harris? Nobody really knows what to call it, but maybe we'll say a combination of both. But they've been very hostile toward crypto, toward all of it, and extremely hostile, like nobody can believe. Nobody even understands why. My attitude is different. If we don't do it, China's going to do it. China's doing it anyway.
They are.
But if we don't do it, we're not going to be the biggest, and we have to be the biggest and the best. And, when you look at values, and when you add it all up, the value of this whole thing is bigger than, they were showing me your top 20 corporations and all of this. The numbers are just gigantic. It suffers from some credibility lapses. I mean, some things were done or not done, but it's very young and very growing. And if we don't do it, China's going to do it. If we don't do it, other countries are going to do it. A lot of countries would like to be in a position. We have the advantage because it's us. But you have a big advantage because it's me, because I do believe in it. I also know a lot of friends that are really into it. And my kids, I mean, Baron knows so much about this.
Right.
Eric, and Baron's a young guy, but he knows it. He talks about his wallet. He's got 4 wallets or something. And I'm saying, what is a wallet? Explain this to me. But he knows this stuff inside out. And Eric and Don know it so well.
They do.
It's almost like younger people know it a lot better than older people. But I have a lot of respect for them. They've shown great judgment, all of them. And I think you're onto something. You're onto it a lot sooner than most people. It's sort of like it's a fledgling business, and yet it's a massive business, but it has a chance to really be something special. And when I do things, I notice a lot of crypto comes in. People pay with crypto.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't see that even a year ago, 2 years ago. So I think it's really, it's big, and yet it's a fledgling compared to what it will be.
And I love that you were mentioning your children and how Baron is using his wallet. Similar to me, I'm trying to teach my mother how to use it. I send her 1 ETH every Christmas, 1 ETH every birthday, and same for my little Zoomer brother, who probably isn't Baron's age category. So has learning about crypto from your children had an impact on you?
Well, it makes it easier. And it's sort of like a language, I have a beautiful granddaughter, Ivanka's daughter, and she is Arabella. She speaks perfect Chinese.
Wow.
And their other 2 children, 2 great young boys, they speak perfect Chinese. They learned it when they were 2 and 3 and 4 from a nanny who was Chinese.
That's impressive.
And she was from China. And she would teach Arabella. When President Xi was here, President Xi couldn't believe it. She walked up to him and had a perfect conversation. And I said, so how did she do? He said, as good as any 10-year-old girl in Beijing. I remember that statement. I mean, she speaks it perfectly, but she learned it at a very young age.
Wow.
If you're going to learn, if it's China or Japan or any language,
Right.
it's not that easy to do.
No.
But as a child, it's almost like a natural. So it's a little bit like that, I think, with crypto. Now, I think crypto is a lot easier,
Right.
if you want to know that. But there is a learning curve. And yeah, my kids really understood it, and they understood it pretty much right at the beginning.
Yeah, we were chatting with Eric in the back, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, this is really awesome."
He knows. Yeah.
Oh, we're about to hear all about your son's crypto endeavors and how much they know about it, which is really cool. I just came back from Asia. I was at the Korea Blockchain Week and at WebEx in Japan, and over there at the moment everybody's in Singapore tuning live to listen to us live on Spaces for Token 2049. What's impressive in the East is that crypto is not the future; it's the present. Whereas when I come here and in Canada and North, it feels like I'm being taken aback. So the question I have for you, following up on what I was asking earlier, is why is it so important for America to lead in cryptocurrency adoption and innovation?
Well, it's crypto, it's AI, it's so many other things. AI, speaking of an interesting future, it needs tremendous electricity capability beyond anything I've ever heard. It never made sense to me, but this is what it needs. If you take all of the electricity coming out of the U.S., in order to be dominant in AI, you need twice that amount just for this one thing. Who would think that? You need twice the electricity we already have. And you got to get started. I mean, you have to be, if you're the U.S., you have to get started.
Right.
You don't want to be left in the dust. And China's already building electric plants, and they want to build them for the AI, and it's very important. But you need tremendous electric, and in this country, because of our strong environmental impact statement problems that we have, China doesn't have those problems. They don't do them. They just build. They said, build over here, build over there. With us, you have to go through years. But I'll make it possible to create tremendous amounts of electricity very rapidly. But people don't know that. People don't know that you need double the electricity of what we already have. So you want to get in, whether it's crypto or AI or other things that are coming along, and it's part of the game. We want to have a great country. We want to stay at the top. We're making things now. We're starting, and it started under my administration, that there was no chance of ever even getting involved in for a long time.
Right.
And we're leading the pack in so many ways. One of the things I'm very proud of is Space Force. We were getting lapped in space by China and by Russia, and now we are the leader in space. And I have to tell you, Elon is doing a fantastic job. He's my friend. He endorsed me for president, like so strongly. It was incredible. But he is doing an amazing job with respect to space. When you look up, I think somebody said he sends 90% of the rockets sent up throughout the world are his.
Wow.
And you got to hand it to him. He's something.
He definitely is. Wish he was here, but at least we're using his. We'll get him. We're definitely using his platform to do so, and I'm sure there's a reason for that. So, to create this future we're talking about, right? Like, there's a lot of American entrepreneurs, founders in crypto that need to sadly leave the country because it feels like at times we're being treated like we're not really welcome to build companies here. The CEO of our company over at Rug Radio was actually debanked earlier last year, but we'll get into that later. Do you think it's important for America to have a legal framework for crypto so that businesses can thrive and survive here?
I do, and they should have certain safeguards too. Maybe somebody would say that's a bad thing to say, but no, it can't be totally freewheeling. And I spoke to some of the big crypto people, they want safeguards, they want certain safeguards. But it's a very hostile environment right now. From what I understand, the SEC has been extremely hostile and really going after people. And I think, frankly, since they heard I was involved, they've treated people much better. Maybe they view it as votes. But people that were under serious investigation for having done nothing wrong are all of a sudden allowed to go free. And I really believe that's because they see, this is a very big market. This is a very powerful market.
Very.
So I'm glad I helped. If I helped, I don't know, maybe I didn't. But the SEC has been unbelievably hostile. The one thing is that if for some reason bad things happen and we don't win the election, those people that were under investigation and that are free as a bird right now, and people that weren't being looked at in the crypto world, they will be living in hell because it'll start the day after the election if they win. And I view it differently. I mean, I just view it that we have to be the top no matter what we do.
Right.
Chips or anything else, we were really starting to go with the chips. We have to be number one. And I think AI is really important, but I think crypto's one of those things we have to do. Whether we like it or not, we have to do it.
It's really, really cool to hear it from you in person. We've only heard it on TV, in newspaper, et cetera, but it feels good to know that a presidential candidate and someone who is already president of the United States of America feel this way about cryptocurrency. I'm sure myself and a lot of people in the industry are relieved to hear that, and I will see what the results are in November. But on something a little lighter now, I remember the day your NFT collections came out. That was super cool. So I host a morning show called FOMO Hour with my friend OSF and Mando and now Tyler. And so we were live on air when the link dropped. And so it was the very, very first collection. There was a chance to have dinner with you. And I remember just like scrambling to buy them. We're staying live. We stopped the show live on air to thousands of people like, no, we got to buy these. We're going to buy these. I got to spend $25K on this. Let's go. Right. Let's do it. Which is another cool thing about people in crypto, right? Or there's crypto bros that they call. And so we're trying to buy these things. And it was just so electric and crazy that we actually failed. But hey, I guess that's a good thing because the collection, ended up selling out, and then you ended up doing, I believe, you ended up doing that 3 times over. Can you tell us more about the success that you have had with NFTs, but also like, did that surprise you?
Well, I got in very late, and NFT was considered cold. I mean, to be honest, it was a cold industry. It had its day a few years before, as you probably know. But when I did it, I said, what do we have to do with anything else? And it's playing cards and some beautiful artwork and other things. And we went out with 45,000 NFTs, and it was amazing. We thought it would take 6 months, maybe a year to sell. It sold out. I don't want to get myself in trouble by saying exactly the first day, but pretty close to it. It was like almost immediately.
It was quick.
Yeah.
Like we failed every transaction.
Right. Almost immediately. And then we did a second one likewise. And then we did a third one. And then we just did a fourth one. And I asked the people from the first 3, I said, well, do you want to have us do? Because, they have they have very big pride to start off with. But I said, are you going to, if we do a fourth one, does that affect you and the ones you already own? Because some people bought a lot of them and some people bought one. And they're all very happy, really happy. I said, does it affect you? And everybody, it was like sort of a phone poll, just like, and everybody wanted the fourth one, which surprised me because you would think they wouldn't want the fourth one because maybe it waters down their own pieces that they have. And they did. They wanted it, and they wanted it badly. So we did a fourth and just did it recently. And I think it's just about gone. It's amazing. And one of the things I know, the crypto played a big role because they paid.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we're not getting checks with dollars. We're getting crypto.
It's instant.
Instantly, yeah. It's been, and that taught me a little bit about what you love. It taught me something that was incredible. We did the NFTs. It was so cool. People said, "Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not going to."
I'm sure.
And we did it, and it sold. Literally, we had anywhere from 6 months to a year, and I think we did it in a day or something.
No, it
like
was
that. Right?
It was quick.
Yeah.
It was quick, and you know what? It was fun. That's
fun.
what it was.
It is fun.
It was a lot of fun. So I'm aware that you probably have a million things to get to. So I kind of want to finish off with a couple more questions for you, Mr. President. So first and foremost, were the NFTs a big part of the story, of your story, of how you came to see the value in digital assets?
A little bit, because so many people paid this way. If they would have been paying in dollars, I would have said, that's standard. I would have assumed. And I was blown away. I wasn't overly interested in it, to be honest, but I did ask, like, what percentage was taken between Bitcoin and all of the other things, but through crypto, and it was a massive majority, and I was a little surprised by that. And that was a while ago now, and it opened my eyes. But I think my children opened my eyes more than anything else. Wow. And plus, I have a friend on my right who's a very smart guy, and he's not quite as young as his fantastic son, who we're dealing with, Alex, and all of them. But he knows a lot about this stuff for a man of his age. He's still pretty young, but for a man of his age, Steve Witkoff knows a lot about this.
He definitely does. And he's sitting on your right. We're about to get to Steve Witkoff. And for everybody in the audience right now, if you're listening to us live, hang tight. I have one more question for Mr. President, and then we're going to be joined by Don Jr., Eric Trump, and the World Liberty Financial teams, and Corey and everybody, the advisors around it. So we have quite the programming for you. But Mr. President, one last question that you may or may not have answered with your last answer here is, so if there was one thing that got you to see crypto differently, what was it?
If it was what?
One thing that got you to see crypto differently. What was it?
Well, maybe the NFTs. You sort of brought that up because I was surprised again at the percentage of them that were sold through that form. You could do a new form of currency. You could call it anything you want, but that was. I think it was also the level of enthusiasm that my young sons have for this. Pretty young guys. I mean, one's extremely young and two are pretty young, right? But the level of enthusiasm they have for crypto.
Yeah.
And also, just to add a third element, I have a lot of friends, very smart people, some very smart people, and they're believers. So it means something to me.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. Everybody hang tight, please. I will go to Mr. Witkoff in a second, and we'll be joining by the next set of guests. But Mr. President, it's an honor. Thank you for having me. And honestly, the fact that you've done this the day after a second assassination attempt means the world to me. Just a little 30-year-old boy from Montreal that, started from just hosting Twitter Spaces, now hosting yourself. So thank you for allowing me to do so.
Great job. Great job. Thank you very much.
Everybody hang tight. We'll be right back.